I'm gonna talk about this movie called The Call. It came out like 2020. Let's just get it. So we got this girl by the name of Seo. She meets up with her uncle Sung Ho, whatever like that, and they go into this house. The thing is, I think she lost her actual phone on the train. So when she gets in the house, she tries to call the phone over like that. Somebody says that they had the phone, whatever. But then they like, you don't give a ransom for it. He's just like, really? And then they hang up, and then she tries to trace it or whatever like that. When she picks it up again, somebody else is calling her talking about some help me. They're trying to burn the house down, blah, blah. And she's like, who the fuck is this? And then she's like, is this Sung Hee? He's like, no, like, who are you? And the person kept hanging up the phone. They were prank calling the phone for like about 3 different times, right? So her uncle's got this like strawberry garden, right? That's basically how he makes his living. Now she had walked past the spot. It's actually called the Sung Hee store, whatever like that, but she didn't go in. So she's trying to hang this picture somewhere up in the wall, whatever like that. But when she's putting the nails in the wall, whatever like that, the nails go down and it feels like it's hollow or whatever like that. So she punches a hole through the wall, and inside the wall is a fucking stairway. She goes down the bottom of the stairway. She sees like a teddy bear soaked in blood sitting in his chair. It's dried up blood, but blood nonetheless. And then she finds these boxes on the other corner, right? It's got like family members in it, and then it's got this picture of this girl. So she goes to her uncle, asks about the family members. He doesn't really know them, but he knows the girl. The girl's name is Yuki. So he says something about her mom used to be a shaman or something like that. Next thing you know, she goes back to the house and gets a phone call again. And on the phone, she's calling for help. She's calling Seo for help, whatever like that. Next thing you know, she's getting dragged down the steps or whatever. And she says she's at a particular address. But here's the crazy thing. That particular address is Seo's address. Let me try to explain this. So while there's a fire going on in Yuki's house, we look at Seo's house and there's smoke coming out from the bottom of the daggone basement. So we're like, what the fuck is going on? So when Yuki calls in the room, she asks her, how old is she? And both of them respond, they're 28 years old. And we're like, wait a minute. Seo is living in real time in the year 2020. Yuki, on the other hand, she's in the year 1999. The fuck? So let's just say we assume this is bullshit, right? Seo's looking through a computer, and Yuki doesn't even have a computer. She tells her today a plane is going to crash at a certain area by like 5 p.m. Yuki leaves out the house and goes to this area, and around 5 p.m., a fucking plane crashes in the area. So she's like, holy shit. So basically, we're in some like time paradox or something. So before I go even further, let me just flip this up. Seo used to visit her mom in the hospital because, she had cancer or whatever like that. But here's the thing. She still had beef with her mom because she feels like she's the reason that her dad died. I'll explain that in a minute. Now back to current events, I guess. Now Seo had these burn marks on her legs too. Or on a particular leg. Just keep that in mind. They start getting along talking about their moms and the dads and situations like that. How mom was real abusive to Yuki. And the somewhat situation with Seo and her mom. Now Yuki's mom would abuse her if she wasn't doing right or whatever like that. But we found out that Yuki's mom was practicing in some type of witchcraft back in the day. Now, Seo had looked up a couple dates because she's been talking to Yuki like that, and we found out on a particular day that Yuki's supposed to die that day. The thing is, her mom is actually supposed to kill her because she's used it as a sacrifice for the greater good or some shit like that. Now, in this timeline, mom has supposedly killed Yuki or whatever, and she got thrown into a mental institution because of like bipolar, psychotic, all types of disbehaviors or whatever. Now, on this day, her mom had like bags of live chickens and shit, and then she went into Sung Yee's store, picked up some stuff, and then headed on to the house. Then mom goes into Yuki's room, you know what I'm saying, thinking that she's laying in the bed. She's a stabbing the bed, but all she's stabbing is pillows. Yuki ends up popping out front of the door to hit this girl with a machete, you know what I'm saying, kills her mom, done deal, daddy shit. So at this point, Yuki feels liberated. Now, I don't know if Yuki was playing with witchcraft too or whatever like that, but then she said because, she warned her about her mom, whatever like that, she was like, how would you like to see your dad come back to life? I don't know how she pulled it off, but Seo started touching the sky or whatever like that, and then like you seen this fire all around her. And Yuki basically transported Seo into a whole new fucking timeline. All of a sudden, the house looked nicer. She goes outside, and she's just standing there for a minute. Then we get this flashback. When Seo was a little girl, and both of their parents are alive, and they were going to the house. The same particular house that she's in right now. Now, at the time, Yuki and the mom lived there, and they were actually going to, give up the house to Seo and then sell it or whatever. And Yuki's having a conversation with Seo and the parents, right? The crazy thing about this shit is, Seo on the phone is hearing herself talk to Yu-Gi-Oh! So we're like, oh shit, this is not a flashback. This is actually happening in this timeline that's happening in 1999. What the fuck? So now we get back to Seo's side. She's looking over at the garden and sees a younger version of her mom chilling in the garden. And then she looks to the left of her and sees her dad popping out with a fucking tadpole in his hand. And we're like, holy shit. She actually brought her dad back to life. How? But let me tell you the first thing she noticed after she granted her wish. The first thing she noticed was the cell phone was back on her bed. The one that she left on the fucking train. So at this point, Sayo's been chilling a lot with her parents and stuff like that, but inadvertently, she's kind of been ignoring Yugi. But Yugi's saying, fuck it, I'm gonna live my life too after killing her mom, whatever like that. She goes like get some clothes, go shopping and stuff like that. So back in the day, her and Sung Ho were best friends. In fact, off the strength of her mom, he used to deliver strawberries over to the house. She was trying on stuff for him, trying to look all nice and everything. And he's got a bunch of these strawberries or whatever like that. So he's thinking to himself, he's gonna go put these strawberries in the fridge while she goes and change or whatever. He opens the fridge and sees a couple of plastic bags in there, yo. He knows one plastic bag dripping, then he noticed a finger in there. We were like, oh shit. She fucking chopped her mom up into multiple pieces and threw it in the goddamn refrigerator. Yugi came back down, saw the mess, and guess what happened? Done deal, dead as shit. The crazy thing is, on Seo's side, she's with her parents and Sung Ho, and they all sitting down there about to eat at the table, whatever like that. She goes to get something from upstairs. She comes back downstairs. She's like, where's Sung Ho at? And they're like, who's Sung Ho? What are you talking about? And we're like, oh shit. Yugi just erased this motherfucker from history. Seo didn't understand what was going on at first. So she runs over to the strawberry farm. We find out that shit didn't even exist. Then she goes to the police station, asks about Sung Ho, and they're like, yeah, he's been dead for a long time. And because Yugi killed him back then in 1999, he never really had a strawberry business that would have survived up to 2020. We're like, what the fuck? Yugi is legit changing history right now. Seo hasn't put two and two together yet, but she's trying to figure it out. Then Seo finally answers the phone for Yugi. Yugi's just like talking to herself. She's like, fucking bitch, god damn it. She's just going off. So Seo keeps asking her, you okay? Like, what's good, yo? So Seo ends up going to Sung Lee's store or whatever like that. And she gets information from Sung Hee that 2 people were killed in that house. So she looks up on the computer in the newspaper and finds out that, damn, she was right. So now she knows Yugi killed Sung Ho and her mom. But she wants to ask Yugi first because she don't really know exactly for sure. Until she reads another newspaper magazine saying that you're going to go to jail for the rest of your life. And the reason she go to jail is because she leaves a murder weapon behind somewhere. So Yugi wants her to tell Seo to tell her what a murder weapon is or whatever like that. But seeing as how Seo is now convinced that she killed both of them, she's reluctant to tell her. Then she hangs up her phone on her twice. I'm just like, oh shit. Yugi did not take that lightly. Police try to come to the house, inspect the house or whatever like that, but they don't get nothing. Now Seo's riding along with her dad or whatever like that, and her dad's going to teach her how to drive. So while dad's teaching Seo how to drive on the other side, Yugi's chilling in the house and all of a sudden she gets a knock at the door. Turns out it's the younger version of Seo and her dad at the door. We're like, oh shit. The thing is, he's supposed to be coming by to figure out what's going on with the price of the house to see the realtor, you know what I'm saying, get everything straight. Now, obviously, he don't know that Yugi killed her mom already, so it's like, it is what it is. So while dad's sitting in Yugi's house, Yugi's getting a fucking fire extinguisher. We're like, oh shit. And while Seo's driving with her dad, she turns around, look at her dad, sees his face fucking melting off. We're like, what the fuck? And we see on the other side, Yugi is burning the dad's face with a fucking fire extinguisher. Done deal, dead as shit. And on the other side, he disappears from the car as Seo's sitting there crying. And then the hallway turns dark. So now Seo's trying to get back to the house, and Yuki's got the younger version of Seo tied up. So Yuki's like, this is the deal. You're going to tell me the information about this, whatever weapon I got to get and how I'm going to do it. And if you don't, I'm going to burn you alive. I was like, oh shit. So with no choice, Seo looks up the information. We found out that she discarded this knife at this bunker. So Yuki's on her way to go get the knife now. Now while Yuki's going up there, she's smoking cigarettes and whatnot. Now the thing she didn't tell her about this bunker is that this old man lives in this bunker. Now he's not there at the time, but when he left, he turned one of the gas things on. Now, she goes over to the bunker. She's supposed to be finding this knife or whatever like that. And then she goes in the inside. She's smoking on the inside of the bunker, right? Not realizing there are hidden propane tanks all over that shit. She ends up leaving the cigarette in the bunker or whatever like that, coming back out, finds the knife, goes back, and then she's going back towards the bunker. The whole shit explodes. We're like, oh my God, did she just kill Yugi? So Seo's thinking to herself it's over and done with, right? Then all of a sudden, the phone rings. Turns out the shit blew up before she got back in the bunker. So Yugi narrowly escaped death. So now she's back at the house with young Seo. She's warming up some boiled water and all sorts of other stuff. And then she starts burning her ass. Which Seo can feel the scars too. It's all on her stomach. And then she can feel it all on her leg. Which the scars had disappeared because of the time jump or whatever like that. Now they're all back. Now we're going to jump back. The reason why Seo didn't like her mom so much. Her mom left the gas on as she went to go to the store or something like that, right? She hides her key under the pot and then she goes out, right? And the thing was, her dad choked on the smoke fumes and died from it, right? And then, like, a piece of the house caught on fire, whatever like that, and it ended up burning Seo's leg, and that's where she originally got the scars from. Now, the thing was, Seo had blamed the mom because of turning the gas on and thought that they were locked in the house. But the thing was, they were locked in the house because Yugi was the one that came back and locked them in the house. I'm like, what the fuck? With the situation that happened back then. So we're like, yo, this is crazy, yo. I know it sounds like a lot to keep up with, but bear with me. Now we go back to Yuki's airspace. Seo's mom has been running around trying to find her husband, trying to find her a daughter, whatever like that. She goes to the police station. She can't find nothing. Now she's about to head back to the house. Now here's what Seo's doing. Seo ran to the police station, but at this point, nobody's in the police station, right? She's looking through all these files, whatever, and then she finds the files on Yuki. She takes the book back home and she starts going through the book, and then she realizes the pages are being different or whatever like that. Yuki's trying to rewrite history. Yugi ends up burning the knife and burning the artifacts, right? So what's going on? Seo is looking at the pages of Yugi being a criminal, being flat out just being erased. We're like, oh shit. Then all of a sudden, Yugi gets a knock at the door. Turns out it's Seo's mom and the other police officer that came through. We're like, what the fuck? Now the cop and them looking around trying to find some evidence or something. Unknowingly to Yugi, Seo's mom ends up finding young Seo's little bow or whatever like that. So we're like, oh shit, she knows she's in the house. Now at this point, they know Yuki's lying about shit, but they're trying to get some things out of her. So at this point, Seo had to make sure that Seo's mom answers the phone when she calls there. She calls, Seo's mom picks up the phone. Now, she's actually hearing her daughter's voice over the other side of the phone. Now, obviously, it's not making no goddamn sense to her because her actual daughter, young Seo, is still in the house. But right when she does that, Yugi ends up done dealing the cop, slices his ass off. We're like, what the fuck? And then when actual Seo is down in the basement or whatever like that, she gets smacked on her back and we're like, who the heck is that? Turns out it's an older version of Yuki is actually at Seo's house right now. We're like, what the fuck? Because apparently the older version was free since all the criminal charges were erased or whatever like that, which means she never went to jail, which means she was still out here on these streets. So mom's trying to fight off Yuki. She's running upstairs. She ends up running into the room or whatever, locking the door. And Seo does the same thing against the older Yuki. The thing is, Seo and Seo's mom, they still got their phones. They're able to talk to each other, right? Seo tells her mom to look for anything in the room, and she ends up seeing a fire extinguisher in the room. The thing is, all of a sudden, her mom hears crying or whatever like that. Mom hears young Seiho outside. We're like, oh shit. She opens the door and clearly it's a damn trap to set up for Yugi to come in and try to swipe on her ass. Seo's mom and Yugi fight all the way in the back of the room, whatever like that. Next thing you know, Yugi comes out of that room. We're like, oh shit, did she kill the mom? Because if she did, then Seo's done deal. Meanwhile, older Yugi breaks into the room to kill Seo. Right before it happens, Seo's mom ends up pushing Yugi over the fucking banister. Both of them done deal did his shit. And we see older Seo in the house just chilling by herself. The house is all worn down and shit. So the first thing Seo does is run over to the cop station. They talk about trying to figure out some stuff, and then she trying to figure out where her mom is. Then we see her running up to where the gravestones are or whatever like that. Turns out mom's gravestone is sitting there right next to the dad's. We're like, what the fuck? But then apparently not, because then all of a sudden her mom just pops up and was like, hey, you doing all right? We're like, oh shit. So she's like holding her hands and then they start walking down the steps. So you think that's the end of the movie, right? Nah. Turns out we get this scene where we see an older Yugi still talking to other Yugi. It turns out she did not die when she fell off the fucking banister. And as we see Seo with her mom walking down the banister, we see her mom disintegrate, disappearing or whatever like that, to the point where Seo's walking down there by herself. Then we go back down to the basement and see a girl wrapped in the sheets or whatever like that. They open the sheets. It's the older version of Seo wrapped in the sheets. So does Yugi got her wrapped up in the sheets? What the fuck? And that's the end of the movie. And now I'm thinking to myself, I got questions. After this timeline flip, is Sung-ho still dead? And I'm thinking to myself, her mother had to have been dead the whole time because at the beginning we saw her like looking like she was about to have cancer or whatever like that. But at the end of the movie, all of a sudden she's looking nice and healthy. I'm like, yeah, right. I know the whole time jump thing is baffling as fuck, but you have to see it for yourself to understand exactly what I was talking about. The Call on Netflix. Check it out.